Amadeus Active Acoustics.
So welcome to the planning session of this tutorial, and as you can see, I invented a small concert hall called Nanal Hall, and you can see the room dimensions on this slide. Yes, and so let's jump over into the Excel tool and see how fast we can find suitable grids. As you can see, I already prepared a few things, so I gave the project its name and I inserted the name of the author, which is me in this case, and I inserted a picture of the room dimensions, just that it's a little easier to follow me while this tutorial. So since this calculator works based on a shoebox shaped venue, and the Nanal Hall is like kind of shoebox, but not really. We can try to approximate that by choosing a length of, for example, 25 meters. And the width is defined as 17, and the loudspeaker height, let's say by 8.5 meters. So it's like half a meter beneath the ceiling. Since the Nanal Hall has a balcony, we can choose the under balcony area option, and this area has a length of 17 meters. And here I sadly forgot to insert the dimensions, but then you have to trust me for now that it's 4 meters and the loudspeaker height is 4 meters as well. So for the reference position, here the 1.5 meters, I think they are well chosen, and I also want to fit the kind of the flexible case to suit sitting but also standing audience. And with a deref of 2 meters, I think that is also a good choice. And here we can now have a look at the calculation and see that the grid for the wall that is recommended is 3.3 meters, and for the ceiling 4.8 meters, and for the under balcony area it's 2.1 meters. And here in green font we can see that a second row is recommended, and since we also have this balcony scenario and because of the height of the room, I would definitely also choose a second row, which basically multiplies the number of wall speakers in this tool by the factor of 2. And as also described in the paper, if we choose a second row, we can widen up the recommended grid by a factor of maximal 1.5 meters. So for now, I would widen up the grid by defining 4 meters. For the ceiling, I would adjust it to 5 meters, and yeah, for the under balcony area, I think 2.5 meters is okay, since the area is pretty small. Yes, and here, right at the bottom of this section, we can see the recommended numbers of loudspeakers and the minimal number of room microphones that is recommended. And we can see that with our own adjustments, the planning goes up to 61 loudspeakers. And if we have a look at the graphic on the right, we can see that the planning looks pretty realistic, because other projects have like the same scope and the same ratio between volume and number of speakers. So at first glance, it looks pretty reasonable, and I would continue the planning with these settings at first. But we can already consider that in the end we might need a little bit more loudspeakers, since we have not set another grid for the area above the balcony for the ceiling. So we might need few more loudspeakers here, because the grid should be less than in the main room, just because of the distance between audience and the loudspeakers. Yeah, but we have to see that later. And here what we can do in the planning tool as well is to find a grid for the wall that fits the room dimensions. So if we have the wall grid of 4 meters, that fits nicely for the 24 meters down here. But if we have the 17 meters, doesn't fit that good, since we are all good in maths. And here you can basically insert the wall grid in the flexible calculator and the length of the wall which you want to consider. And then the tool recommends a new grid which is 4.25 meters. And yeah, with that in hand, I would say let's go directly into ease and insert loudspeakers depending on the calculated grids. As you can see, I prepared a few things again. I inserted all the loudspeakers at the positions we defined with the Excel planning tool. So yeah, basically I just took the wall grids for each row, and for the second row I did this zigzag layout together with the first row. You can see that nicely from this perspective, this zigzag. And so for the ceiling above the main room, I stick to these 5 meters distance between each loudspeaker, and for the under balcony area and for the balcony and the area above the balcony, I try to stick to the 2.5 meters. So in total, we get to a number of 70 loudspeakers. And so I guess the question is now, what speaker type did you use? And for this example, I chose 2 different speaker models, both from QC Audio, and only for the ceiling speakers in the main room I chose the AD-S5T, and for all the other speakers I chose the AD-S4T. So in my eyes this design could work out pretty well, and I would say that we take that and go into the simulation and the next video and find out if it's really good or if we did a bad job. See you later.
Amadeus Active Acoustics. Acoustic intelligence for the 21st century.